aka the Interactive Nanny, coming to you guys live and in living color from Interactive Nanny's world, where love and play are interacting. So, we're on today, and we're gonna do a story time. I have two books out. I don't know if I'm gonna be one or both of them, but we'll just see. I just go how I feel. I'm glad that you all are on and listening this evening. Hope you guys had a good week last week, and I pray that your next week will be this week rather will be even better. So we're gonna get started and get on into the podcast this evening. And our first story is The Story Starts Here. And this book is really different because the way it's set up, even though the title of the book, from the way I'm looking at it, is The Story Starts Here, but when you open it, instead of opening it left, it opens right. So it's like I'll be reading the book backwards. But anyway, we're just gonna start it, and we're gonna see what happens. So y'all are gonna come along on this journey with me with this book here. It says The Story Starts Here, and the author is Caroline Marola. I hope I pronounced her last name right. Alright, the story starts here because I said so. Alright. No, little wolf, we don't start the book from this end. Today we do. Today I'm going to eat standing up, and I'll begin with dessert. No, you will not begin with dessert. Fine then, I'll play piano with my toes. No, you will not play piano with your toes. That's enough, little wolf. Time to get dressed. Today, I'm starting a new fashion. I can't wait to show my friends. Please, little wolf, dress yourself properly. I can't do anything around here. Of course you can. You can go to your room and then think about your behavior. Phooey, if that's how it is, I'm out of here. Wait, what's going on? There's something coming. Something I can't even describe. Look out. But what is it? Ah! It's gonna eat me. It's gonna eat me. Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you. I just don't feel like myself today. Not yourself? What do you mean? I don't know. I feel out of sorts. Kind of topsy-turvy. Topsy-turvy? Oh, I get it. You flip the book upside down and turn the page. That page. Exactly. Like that. Ah. Right side up at last. That feels good. That wasn't funny, Dad. You really scared me. What's the matter? Aren't I allowed to play jokes too? Hey, my pants. Look, it's the latest style. And that's the end of the story. So that was The Story Starts Here. It was really cute, wasn't it? Well, I thought it was cute. Anyway, I think we're going to read one more book, and it's called, the title of it rather, shall I say, let me correct myself, No English, and it's by Jacqueline Jules, and the illustration are by Amy Huntington. Sometimes I talk so fast you can hardly understand what I'm saying, but okay. Let's get started. No English. Guys. Okay. No English. No English, the new girl said, shaking her head. Espanol. Her name is Blanca, and she was from Argentina. Miss Bertram gave her the empty desk next to mine. As soon as she sat down, Blanca took colored pencils out of her backpack. She drew all during spelling, and Miss Bertram didn't say a word to her. When I got caught making a picture during class, I got in trouble. It didn't seem fair. Miss Bertram, I raised my hand. Blanca is coloring. She's not doing the spelling words. Blanca looked up to see everyone staring at her. Then the classroom door opened and a lady walked in. I'm Miss Sanderson, she said. I'll be helping Blanca learn English. Everyone watched Blanca walk to the front of the room. She looked scared, like a little kid lost in a shopping mall. I suddenly felt bad for telling on her. When Blanca had left the room, Miss Bertram talked to the class. Can you imagine what it's like to be surrounded by people you don't understand? Lonely, Jessica said. Absolutely, Miss Bertram said. What can we do to make Blanca feel welcome? We could say hola, John said. That's hello in Spanish. Good idea, Miss Bertram agreed. What else? I know. Allison raised her hand. We can learn about Argentina. On the internet, Bobby added. Miss Bertram let Bobby and Allison use the computer before lunch. They found out that January is summertime in Argentina. Weird, Billy said. Just different, Miss Bertram corrected. The more we talked about Bianca and her country, the more I wanted to make up for being a tattletale. At recess, I saw Blanca on the edge of the blacktop. Jumping rope. Second graders weren't allowed past the third fence post. I ran across the blacktop to warn her. When I got there, Blanca was jumping to a Spanish rhyme. Uno, dos, tres. Hola, I said, remembering the Spanish word for hello. Blanca stopped jumping. Hola. This was my chance to make friends. I pointed to the rope. Share? She smiled and handed the rope to me. Just as I was taking it, Miss Greenby, the playground teacher, called, Girls, come back here. I didn't want us to get in trouble. Come on, I yelled to Blanca as I ran back, but Blanca didn't understand. With a cry, she ran up beside me and grabbed the jump rope out of my hands. No, she screamed. Blanca thought I was trying to steal her rope. I watched her run across the playground and into the school. She was out of trouble with Miss Greavy, but it was the second time in one day that I had hurt Blanca's feelings. It bothered me like a scratchy tag at the back of my neck. How could I make friends with Blanca? She didn't understand when I talked to her. Blanca sat alone at lunch. On the playground, she kept to herself. Sometimes I watched her jump rope, but I didn't go near her. Friday afternoon was library time. I got an idea during checkout. Miss Porter, I asked the librarian, do we have any Spanish books? Yes, she said, handing me a book with nice pictures. This one is Spanish and English. I found Blanca sitting at the library table all alone. For you, I said, holding out the book. Blanca shook her head as if she was saying no. I opened up the book and pointed to the Spanish words. Espanol, her brown eyes lit up. A second later, I was sitting beside her, pointing my finger under a Spanish word. She read it to me. Then she put her finger under an English word, and I read it aloud. When we both left the library. Blanca was carrying the book against her chest, smiling. On Monday morning, Blanca handed me a picture. It showed two girls sitting at a table reading a book. One of the girls had black hair and brown eyes and looked like Blanca. The other girl had blonde hair and blue eyes like mine. Thank you, we smiled at each other. I picked up my pencil and wrote Blanca beside her face, and Diane beside mine. Blanca had never said my name. I wanted to make sure she knew it. When I showed the picture to Blanca, we both giggled. Please stop talking. Miss Bertram was not there. We had a substitute named Miss Clemens. This is spelling time, Miss Clemens frowned. Blanca picked up her color pencils and started a picture of her family. I made a picture of my family. We labeled everyone. I found out that she had a younger brother named Manuel. She found out that I had a younger sister named Veronica. Then Blanca drew a picture of her house. I made a picture of my house. We leaned toward each other, whispering and pointing. Girls, Miss Clemens called out, this is the second time I've asked you to be quiet. I couldn't help it. Blanca and I were having such a good time. One small giggle came out, then a louder one. Blanca started giggling too. Soon the whole class was laughing with us. That's enough. Miss Clemens pointed to Blanca and me. Come up here right now. Everyone stopped giggling. I took Blanca's hand and gently led her to Miss Clemens. Tell me your names, she snapped as she filled out a purple card. The card that said you were in trouble and had to go to visit the office. Diane Wells, I squeaked. And this is Blanca. Blanca what? Miss Clemens asked. No English, Blanca said, shaking her head. Miss Clemens handed me the purple card. Blanca and I left the classroom for the long walk down the hall. When we arrived, the secretary asked us to sit down. I put my hands in my lap and tried not to cry. I had never been to the office before. Mr. Conwell, the assistant principal, walked in. He was so tall, I could hardly see his face from where I was sitting. Blanca put her hand on mine. Sway, we sat down in his office with our heads lowered. So, what brings you here this morning? I lifted my head a little. We made pictures. Did the teacher ask you to draw pictures? I shook my head. It was spelling. So you were drawing pictures instead of writing spelling words? Mr. Caldwell said, yes. Do you agree? Mr. Conwell squatted and turned his head so he could look into Blanca's eyes. Is that what happened? Blanca shook her head and said, no English. Mr. Conwell rocked back on his heels for a moment. You're Blanca Cruz, the girl from Argentina. Blanca nodded. We talked to each other with pictures, I said. Mr. Conwell smiled. May I see what you drew? The next day, our pictures were hanging on the wall outside of the office door. We heard nice things from the students and teachers. Miss Bertram gave us a compliment and a warning. Remember what you promised Mr. Conwell. No more drawings during class time. Lots of days have passed since then. Blanca sits with me and the other second grade girls at lunch. She plays outside with us at recess. Blanca has taught us Spanish jump rope rhymes. She doesn't shake her head and say no English anymore, but she does still count in Spanish. Uno, dos, tres. We count along with her. And that's the end of the story. So those were the two stories that we read for this evening. No English, and the story ends here. So, as a matter of fact, when I read that book, I think I said the story starts here, but it's actually the story ends here. So those are the two books that we read this evening. I hope you guys really enjoyed the story time for this evening. And I hope you guys will listen, like, share, and subscribe. If you're listening or watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe and share as well, because it will help the channel. until next week, this is Don, aka the Interactive Nanny, signing out from Interactive Nanny's World, where love and play are interactive. Talk to you guys next week. Be safe. Enjoy your week. Bye bye.